We are ready for language March 23rd. We are going to start again with vocabulary. We talked about the word optimistic last week, and so I want to move on to the next word, complicated. Complicated. Say it with me. Complicated. Definition: difficult to understand. Sentence: that math problem is complicated. Synonym: involved. Antonym: simple. So complicated really just means that it involves lots of different things. Um, Math can be complicated. Division is complicated because there's several different steps to remember. When I say this is simple, not complicated, I mean that it's kind of basic. There's not a lot of different steps, not a lot of different things that you need to do. Um, Life can be complicated because there's lots of different things going on at the same time. There's lots of different things going inside of you, emotions, different things. So, complicated can apply to lots of things, not just schoolwork um, or things that you think of as hard or difficult. We're talking about complicated meaning many different parts. Okay, I want to do a few jingles before we get started. In this lesson, we are actually going to move on to prepositions. I want you to go ahead and do page 8. This is the next page we're at in our book. It starts with the big ugly mosquito flew quickly away. These 10 you should be able to do pretty easily on your own. They talk about um, the same concepts that we discussed last week. Nothing new. Using article adjectives, using the adjectives, using the adverbs. And then I want to talk about page 9 today that's going to talk about prepositions and object of the preposition. Which again, we've already discussed these things in class. These are still things that we are going back and reviewing. These are still pattern 1 sentences. But to remind ourselves of the preposition, we are going to do jingle 6, 7, and 8 together. Ready? This is page 96 in your white reference book. This one. A preposition is a special group of words that connects a noun, or a pronoun to the rest of the sentence. Again, a preposition is a special group of words that connects a noun, or a pronoun to the rest of the sentence. Jingle 7. Dum-de-dum-dum. An OP is an NOUN or a PRO after the PREP in an SENTENCE. Dum-de-dum-dum. Done. Did you get it? There's a lot of spelling out in there, so look at it with me. Okay, I'm going to do that one again. Dum-de-dum-dum. An OP is an NOUN or a PRO after the PREP in an SENTENCE. Dum-de-dum-dum. Done. I bet you got it that time. All right, now, prepositions. Take a deep breath. We know this one. Let's do it together. Preposition, starting with an A. Aboard, about, above. Across, after, against. Along, among, around, at. Hey. Preposition, starting with a B. Before, behind, below, beneath, beside, between, beyond, but, by. Hey. Preposition, starting with a D. Down, during. Hey. Preposition, don't go away. Go to the middle and see what we say. EFI and LNO, except for from, in, inside, and to, like, near, of, off, on, out, outside, over. Hey. Preposition, almost through. Start with P and end with W. Past tense through, throughout, to, toward, under, underneath, until, up, upon, with, within, without. Hey. Preposition, easy as can be. We're almost finished. Only 5 more of these. Amid, concerning, atop, onto, regarding. Amid, concerning, atop, onto, regarding. Amid, concerning, atop, onto, regarding. Hey! Yay! Give yourself a pat on the back or a high five. Okay, good job. All right, now Those are our prepositions. So if we look at a few, we've got before, behind, below, past, since, through. And in our definition, it says they connect the words to the sentence. They also, one way to recognize a preposition is show relationship. Where am I looking? I'm looking at. I'm looking over. I'm looking under. I'm looking behind. I'm looking in front of. Okay, that's what relationship means, is how is something connected to something else? Is it on it? Is it under? Is it beside? Those are our prepositions. Okay, let's look at the first one. This is number 1 on page 9. Together, the athletes looked sadly at the rain. Who looked sadly at the rain? Athletes, subject, noun. What is being said about athletes? Athletes looked, verb. Looked how? Sadly, adverb. At, preposition. At what? Rain, object of the preposition. The, article adjective. I'm a little low there. Let's move it up. Okay. The, article adjective. Subject, noun, verb, pattern 1, check. Now we're going to check our prepositional phrases. Okay. At the rain, prepositional phrase. Period, statement, declarative sentence. Go back to the verb, separate the complete subject from the complete predicate. Is there an adverb exception? No. Is this sentence in natural or inverted order? Natural, no change. So far we haven't had any of those yet. We're just making sure we can keep up our labeling. Okay, let's look at number 2. The boisterous children walked to school. Who walked to school? Children. Subject, noun. What is being said about children? Children walked, verb. To, preposition. To what? School, object of the preposition. Walked when? Today, adverb. What kind of children? Boisterous, adjective. The, article adjective. Subject, noun, verb, pattern 1, check. To school, prepositional phrase, period, statement, declarative sentence. Go back to the verb, separate the complete subject from the complete predicate. Is there an adverb exception? No. Is this sentence in natural or inverted order? Natural, no change. Okay, so I want to point something out to you. See how this prepositional phrase is to school? To where? School, object of the preposition. This adverb is not included in the prepositional phrase. It's talking about your verb. It's the when, okay? So it's an adverb, but it's not part of the prepositional phrase. The only things that belong in your prepositional phrase are the preposition and the OP and anything in between, which could be, you can have article adjectives, you can have adjectives in there, but it needs to end with the object of the preposition. Okay, this is number 3. The new student jumped quickly over the mud puddle in the middle of the road. Who jumped quickly over the mud puddle in the middle of the road? Student, subject, noun. What is being said about student? Student jumped, verb. Jumped how? Quickly, adverb. Over, preposition. Over what? Careful. Puddle, object of the preposition. What kind of puddle? Mud, adjective. The, article adjective. In, preposition. In what? Middle, object of the preposition. The, article adjective. Of, preposition. Of what? Road, object of the preposition. The, article adjective. What kind of student? New, adjective. The, article adjective. Subject, noun, verb, pattern 1. Check. over the mud puddle, prepositional phrase. In the middle, prepositional phrase. Of the road, prepositional phrase. Period, statement, declarative sentence. Go back to the verb, separate the complete subject from the complete predicate. Is there an adverb exception? No. Is this sentence in natural or inverted order? Natural, no change. Good job. That one was longer. Look at how prepositional phrases can add lots of detail and lots of meaning to your sentence, but they're still just prepositional phrases. Over the mud puddle, in the middle, of the road. You can have a whole bunch. You could add one even here, the new student at our school. Instead of quickly, you could have said jumped in a hurry. Okay, there's all kinds of things you can add in with prepositional phrases, but be very careful that you don't mix them in with the main parts of your sentence. Subject, noun, verb, never going to be a preposition. Okay, and a preposition is always going to have over. Over what? You could have said mud, but it wasn't the mud. It was the what? The puddle. The mud was only the type of puddle. So there's a few things. This adds a little bit more complications. There's our word. This one can be a little bit more complicated than the other sentences because why? It has more parts. That doesn't mean it has to be more difficult because guess what? Your minds are growing. They're adding to all of those parts. Doesn't mean that it's hard. It's not hard for you anymore. You're learning. You're able to handle complicated things. Go you. I'm proud of you. Now, I want you to do 4 and 5 on your own. These are still these same kind of concepts. I want you to look back over this if you still don't get it. Make sure you're looking in your list and seeing if you can identify those prepositions and then ask your question, over what, in what, of what, so that you can identify the object of the preposition at the end. Okay, I know you can do it. In the comments, I want you to give me a prepositional phrase that describes somewhat about where you do your work. So, at school, we would say, at my desk. That would be a prepositional phrase, at my desk. In my classroom, at the school. Okay, give me a prepositional phrase, or in my uniform. Okay, so give me a prepositional phrase that describes a little bit about how you're doing your work right now, which is a little bit different than being at school. Okay, I look forward to reading those. Move on to your next thing. You're doing great.